Absolutely. This is like, as an artist, having a space that you can go to and it's strictly just to be creative has been such a leap forward artistically. Like, you just, anytime, like, if I'm making like a beat at home, sometimes it's really hard to get into a vibe. Because, like, I don't know, you're kind of used to the smell. My cat's like on my leg or something, and it's like.
And you're saying it's hard to get into a vibe in your home studio?
Just at my apartment, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're at home?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But when I get here, it's like the investment is. This is an investment. Like, this place is an investment.
Yeah, bro, for sure.
And it costs money. It costs a lot of money
to keep
over
the lights
time.
on, yeah.
But it's 100% worth it. And like, now I'm allocating my money towards, I have like music video ideas, like stuff that I write all my ideas down, and I'm kind of trying to like put visuals to like the art that I made.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, there's so much that goes into it, man. Like, when you really like, I'm sure you've done this, like when you deep dive into like marketing and stuff like that, you're like, oh my, like, this is a whole different, like,
yeah, bro.
It's almost a new skill.
Nah, man, it's crazy. Marketing is different level shit, man. Like, I did a marketing course in university, and that course we were selling a backpack. It was basic level marketing, but man, it's like, it's really like, it's its own world, right? And like, there's so much data to be gathered and all that shit. And like, as an independent artist, you really do need to market your shit. Like, I had 86 Love on my previous episode, and he was saying like, making fire music is really only like half of the shit. The other half is marketing and getting it to the people that need to see it. So like, your fan base, right? Because you got to find the fan base. They're all out there, and the internet allows us to get to them faster. But it's like, how are we gonna get there, right? The roads that we take to get there is the marketing strategies that we implement on ourselves. So like, when you dive deep into marketing, have you found any strategies that have like helped you and you've implemented into your own shit?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Like, having a very, very clear vision of like what you want to present. There's always an audience for someone. I've heard that over and over again from all the artists. I mean, if you study the game, a lot of the times artists in interviews, like if you watch like a bunch of Breakfast Club interviews, or like you just like go to your favorite artists and you listen, a lot of times they'll give you gems. And I think like branding is like super important.
Yeah, branding is super important, bro.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit on that? Like, what does it take to brand a hip hop artist in 2022? For people that don't even know what branding is, and they're like, yo, branding a hip hop artist, like, what is that? Like, can you speak on that?
Sure. So like, branding is like the reason that people like follow you, to me. So like, for example, like when I was early on in Logic's career, I thought I was really digging the music, but I was really enjoying what he was presenting. So like, he would be in interviews and he would say like peace, love, and positivity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know, but he was building his brand and I was following his brand. And the music just so happened to also be fire.
Yeah, definitely.
And so stuff like that, like you look at J. Cole and you literally, like, anytime you hear J. Cole's music, it's very empowering and stuff, you know? Even the visuals, the off-season cover, it looks hard, and it looks like something that you want to bump if you're gonna like.
Is that the off-season is the one where he's sitting on the basketball hoop?
Or like I think it's on fire or something like that.
Or something like that, yeah.
And it's like a really dark cover. It's actually really dope. But that's like stuff like I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff that it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of brain power. And a lot of times these days, to be honest with you, I'm veering more towards the marketing side because I have been making music for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, well, maybe if I just put my time more here and like figure out what my brand is. So it's not an answer I can give 100% with conviction, like that I have my brand fully. I'm still kind of creating it. And I think like when I do these music videos, it'll help me even visualize it even further.
Yeah, definitely.
But I feel like it's just like your art. It's just like everything else. If it's unique to you, I think eventually things will just work out if you're just being honest to yourself. you know?
No, 100%. I agree with everything you said, bro. Because I feel like branding is definitely such like so broad. You know, there's so much stuff to branding yourself, but like the main thing about branding is how can you create an image that's synonymous to yourself? You know what I mean? Just like Nike, when you see that check mark, what's the first thing that comes to your head?
Just
is
do
Nike,
it, yeah.
right? When you think of the Yankee cap and you think of hip hop, who's the first person that comes to your head?
Yeah,
Jay-Z.
Jay.
You know what I mean? So all these things are synonymous to that brand, to that person. So I think branding is definitely figuring out who you are and how you're gonna implement your vision and relate to the mass, you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely what branding is. But moving on, bro, I kind of want to speak on kind of your thoughts, because you know you're from Calgary, you're a rapper here in Calgary. What are your thoughts on the music scene right here in Calgary, like the local hip hop scene, to be specific?
To be honest, man, I think it's really dope, and I think it's a lot more. I think there's a lot more people in this scene that are really, really, really talented than people probably realize. We've been here and we've met up with a lot of artists over the years. I've met a ton of people. I don't know if they remember me, maybe, but I've met a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because there's just so many people that are so talented and like, yeah, a lot of really great talent here.
Yeah, man. Where do you see yourself fitting in with like all this great talent in the city, bro? Where do you see Toro fitting in this puzzle? This puzzle being the local scene in hip hop in Calgary, bro.
Man, I don't know.
Are you a prominent player? Are you a behind the scenes type player? Like, where do you see yourself fitting in? Because, like, you know, people are artists, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, some people like to keep their art real close. So they're part of the hip hop scene, but they're a little bit more introverted. I think if I'm using that correctly, and some other artists are more extroverted. So you know they're more out there, they're more in your face. So like, where do I see Toro in the hip hop scene? Like, if I come here next year, what can we expect from Toro in 1 year?
In 1 year?
Yeah, bro.
You can. I'm definitely gonna have that brand down.
Okay, cool.
That's just gonna be fire.
Yeah.
No, I think I definitely want to be one of those artists that's like can take time off. I want to be an album artist, even though people say the album, you know, is dead. I don't believe that.
What's your take on that, bro?
I don't think that's true, man. I don't think that's true. I think things are evolving. I think people do have short attention spans, but I can't imagine. You can't just put everyone in a bubble like that. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people out there that are thirsty for different types of music.
Yeah.
Like I think about how I listen to music. I listen to full albums. I know there's other people out there. I know that I'm not like super in tune with like the kids or anything like that, but
yeah, definitely.
I know that I don't think it's a dead thing. I don't know. I don't want to say it is. I just don't want to say it, I guess.
Yeah, can I give you a scenario?
Yeah.
All right, bro. So let's say you take an independent artist from a city kind of like Calgary, right? So hip hop isn't the biggest thing out here, right? And now let's say you've gone into the studio, you've put in the hours, and you've come out with, let's say, 40 songs, right? So in a course of a certain amount of time, you've come out with 40 songs. And now you have a choice, right? So your homies say, yo, albums are dead. Put them out as singles, right? But then your other homie says, nah, albums aren't dead. Put them out as albums and just release a couple singles, right? So where do you see getting more growth in that sense? Do you see more growth in releasing singles and, you know, on a constant basis and getting it to the crowd that you want to get to? Or do you think it would benefit more of putting a couple songs out and then putting a whole album out? What would benefit more? Because like, in the way I see it, is like the one who's gonna benefit more is the one who's gonna put more content, especially if you're a starting out artist. The one with the more content is gonna build a community where then once that community is formed, you can drop this album for that community because that community will soak it up. Instead of dropping albums and kind of hoping that people will listen to it from top to bottom, because let's say 20 people will listen to it top to bottom. Those are the hip hop heads. Those are the ones that say, yo, I live and die hip hop. I'll listen to any album. And then there's 400 kids that are saying, yo, I'm trying to listen to singles. I'm trying to go on my playlist and just go next, see which one I fuck with the most. and then I'll become that person's like fan. So like, where do you see it in your eyes benefit more?
Well, I have been releasing a song every 2 weeks for a minute. I've done the song a week at one point. That was like in 2018 I did that. And
what did you see from that, bro?
Not much, bro, to be honest. And like the thing that it does, there's always positives in everything. And it's not like, because I don't know, it's not, I never really have been like, I think at one point I was very concerned with like, how many streams am I getting? Or like, how well is the song doing? And I'm more concerned with just putting out the best thing that I can. And so I have been doing that, where I've been releasing, and I understand that mentality, and I think there is a lot of truth to that. And I think you see success. I mean, you see it every day. People just throw out songs and do that type of thing. But on the other hand, I'm not trying to be that. You know what I mean? So it's like, if it was up to me, if in a perfect world, I would only have to do albums, but I know that's not reality. So I am playing both games.
Where do you see the most growth, basically? Like, if we were to sum it all up, where do you see the most growth? In releasing singles and then releasing an album once you have traction, or just releasing albums?
Oh, definitely the singles. Yeah, I think that's definitely a bit, like, especially if you make like large quantities of music. Like if you have like, I'm sitting on a ton of songs, so I can just keep releasing songs until something hits. Yeah, definitely. And then put it on an album. But I mean, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now, though. But
are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen any like what's the data saying on TikTok, man? Is it kind of translating into your Spotify and into your other stuff?
Not so much yet. I'm still trying to like figure out how to properly do it. Sometimes I feel so old doing it sometimes, but I'm like,
how old are you, bro?
27.
Yeah. Nah, we're young, bro.
That is young, like relative to like everyone else. But
just think of Gary V. Anytime you just think of Gary V yelling at you. You're 70, you're young still. You know what I mean?
I'm on cocaine. Like what?
No, Gary V would be someone to fucking be lit to party with.
You should love yourself. You should definitely be proud of yourself. But I don't know. Maybe that's just like a thing, like just how I was raised and stuff like that. But being humble has like always been like a part of my like
upbringing.
Yeah, that's like,
yeah, bro, you got to be humble in every aspect of life, right? Because like you don't want to be humbled. You know, you want to be humble first before you get humbled. You know what I mean? Because life will humble you quick, especially when you're out there. Yeah. And if you're not moving correctly, bro, you're moving wrong. You know, it's almost like
it's horrible.
It's horrible, man. It's horrible.